Bienvenidos. ¿Cómo explicarles? Yo soy de esas personas que salen huyendo cuando escucha que hay una película de terror proyectándose. Pero esta combinación llamó mucho la atención porque va más allá de un terror sencillo, del slasher, del si rompes las reglas te voy a matar. Tiene una premisa muy interesante. Un lugar en silencio que ya se estrena mañana. Básicamente es lo que dice el tráiler. Vaya, tú no sabes quiénes son, pero si haces cualquier ruido van por ti. Una familia trata de sobrevivir y una familia hace esta película. Son John Krasisnski y Emily Blunt, que en la vida real están casados. Y John, director y guionista de la cinta, platica sobre el trabajo en este guión, sobre cómo decidió abordar la historia de suspenso, ya que a él, igual que a mí, no le gustan las películas de terror, pero esta sí nos gustó.
You know, we were just looking at the production notes and we said, this is way larger than the script must be.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the script was definitely a shorter version of the script, but you know, one of the fun things about rewriting it is I got to actually put in all the things I wanted to direct in the script. Right. So all the stage directions and what the crew would read and what the cast would read, I was actually trying to over-explain what I was going to do in the scene. So it was more of a manual for what we were shooting rather than just a script.
That's really cool. And what I also find very cool is that I'm sitting here with you and you confess that you didn't like horror films. Mm-hmm. I confess that myself.
Nice.
And this is different.
That's cool. I mean, that's one of my favorite things is, you know, I was too much of a scaredy cat to watch horror movies. I now watch them all the time. But one of the best compliments I can get is that people said they never thought they'd cry in a horror movie and that they're not used to going to horror movies and yet they love this one because it has so much more going on. And that's certainly the reason why I did the movie. I mean, this movie to me is a giant metaphor for parenthood. This is about what would you really do for your kids. And so there's something really emotional and really big about the movie. And then on top of it, it's very scary and really fun. But I think you're scared because you don't want anything to happen to this family.
Yeah, you actually make us care.
Exactly.
And that must have been like a real feat because it is actually, because you don't have words to do it. You have to do it really quickly.
Right.
It's a short movie actually, so you have to really go for it.
Yeah, it is. You really do have to go for it. And I think that the idea of not having as much dialogue in the movie, little to no dialogue, was really nerve-wracking and scary in the beginning. And then when you start shooting and you actually get into the actual filming of the movie, you realize that the performances that the people are giving, especially these kids, I mean, Emily's amazing, but these kids are delivering performances that are emotional and powerful with no words. So it became this thing where you realized how special the movie could be while we were shooting it.
Evidentemente, si no puedes hablar y tienes hijos y estás en un lugar donde estás rodeado por monstruos que quieren acabar contigo en un segundo solo para hacer cualquier ruido, pues tienes que aprender a mantener silencio. Sin embargo, cada ruido, cada sonido que se escucha en esta cinta es brutal. Así que hablamos de los pocos diálogos, pero lo importante es el sonido.
I was telling the kids in the round tables that there was a thing that used to be called quiet movies before the talkies.
Right, exactly.
And I couldn't help thinking of Norma Desmond saying, you have to do everything with your eyes.
Yes.
And you actually do pretty much that in this movie.
Well, yeah, I mean, it is definitely one of those things where you realize the power of more silent films and films where there's not a lot of talking. I remember reading a really wonderful article where Chris Nolan was talking about doing Dunkirk and how powerful that was and how he was hoping that filmmaking got back to less and less talking and more of a silent type of film with a lot of sound. So it was a perfect timing that after I read that, we were already shooting this, which was great.
That's great. However silent this is, every single sound matters and
exactly.
So much.
Exactly.
I know you were listening particularly for months before this.
Yes, exactly. And I think the idea of sound, you know, sound's always so important to every movie, but in this movie in particular, it's a very big idea. And the idea is it's not a silent movie. There's a lot of sound. It's everywhere, but it's about what sounds you show people and when and how. And so there's the atmospheric sounds, which are really cool for tone and emotion. And then there's the creature sounds, and there's the idea of pulling sound out. And I think that was one of the most exciting things about this is playing with the idea when you can't hear anything in this movie, literally nothing, and when you can hear a whole lot, and which sounds are scariest, and is the lack of sound actually scarier at moments?
Mi Emily Blunt a quien hemos entrevistado por casi todo lo que ha hecho y estamos felices porque ya va a ser Mary Poppins. Aquí definitivamente no es Mary Poppins, aunque también es una figura que cuida mucho a los niños de una manera muy distinta. Bueno, ella nos habla de cómo esta película ofrece una dimensión distinta al terror. ¿Qué creen? A ella tampoco le gustaban las películas de terror, pero la premisa de esta le llamó muchísimo la atención y le dijo a su marido, hagámosla.
I was telling John, and I told him in the round table, I'm also one of those people who really do not like the horror genre.
Right.
And I love the quiet.
Good. I'm glad you did.
That's happening a lot, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like, a lot of people told me this.
I mean, this is a film that I would be nervous to go and see because I don't like horror films, but I think it's just a different dimension of horror films. It's like it's a really special movie.
To begin with, the premise is brilliant.
Yeah.
I think it's something we can all say, oh, wow, I didn't think of that.
Yeah, it's like completely unique, and I think that was a big draw for me, certainly for John, when he took it on to rewrite and then direct and act in. I mean, he fell in love with the concept. He saw it as being so rich with possibility, you know.
Absolutely, and the possibility is the fact, well, first of all, you guys working together, having this family to protect, which is pretty much what this is about, and the horror film cliches are usually not about that.
No, and I think that deeper metaphor about parenthood and just how far you'd go to protect your children became the real thrust of the movie. You know, the monsters are terrifying, but they're almost secondary to how much you invest in this family.
Absolutely, and you do take some really big risks in this movie. You both do, especially emotionally for the audience. I mean, at the beginning, I'm not going to say what happens, but
it's awful.
It
is. And I think that he knew he had to start the movie off with something shocking and brutal to really just disquiet people and make it feel like a very tense environment that you were entering into, and so. Yeah, we always would. It's a big swing, that first scene. I think it's really, really frightening.
En lo personal, creo que Emily Blunt sí es una de las grandes estrellas que quedan, de las pocas grandes estrellas que quedan hoy en día. Que si hay una película de Emily Blunt, probablemente pues, mucha gente sí quiera verla porque es de ella. Ella es más modesta al respecto, pero ha hablado de los géneros que hace y ha hecho en su carrera, que son básicamente todos ahora.
You've been doing every kind of genre we can imagine in movies, and I think that's a big testament to your talent.
Oh, thank you.
No, but absolutely, I believe so. And is there, I mean, after this, we're going to see you in a musical. We saw you, Girl on a Train. I mean, you're doing so many different things. Is there something particularly that you would like to do that you haven't? Because I can't imagine.
Not really. I mean, I don't tend to look at future work in the realm of like, oh, I'd like to play this part. Like, I'm always sort of surprised by the people that I want to play and the projects that I want to do. It's hard for me to pinpoint what I'm looking for until I see it, you know.
Mm-hmm. But you told us that you don't have like the kind of process like Daniel Day-Lewis that
no.
Go home and then take that with you good in a film like this.
Yeah, I don't know how I could survive, really, living in this mindset all the time.
And you are one of the few movie stars these days that actually can open a film, and that's, yeah.
Is that true? I don't know if that's true.
People do go see an Emily Blunt film now.
I don't know. Do they?
Well,
God bless you.
Numbers. Well, it's true.
There you go.
And I appreciate the fact that you also are extremely talented. So I know that's not something you take with you, and I think that's pretty much the reason it works.
I don't know. I just like... It's just it's the Wild West, Hollywood. And so I'm grateful for people wanting to see me still do it, you know. It's a funny old world to be in.
Y siendo una mujer, pues, muy casada con un hombre espectacular a quien ya vimos, porque es el director de esta película, con 2 hijos, con mucho que proteger, ha estado apoyando a otras mujeres también. Esto nos cuenta.
It's a strange world, and it's changing so much right now.
Yes, it is.
Has it changed for you in any way?
Well, I think in some ways this is such an exciting movement because this is stuff that me and my actress friends, we've talked about for years, all of the differences and the inequalities that go on. And you almost, in a sad way, were learning to accept it and just talk about it and bitch about it, but not do anything. And this is a really exciting time because everything that people feel is now being given a platform. and everything's speaking for itself. And it's a fascinating time for me. I mean, I think big things are happening.
Absolutely, and something else that's pretty big. I saw the film, I talked to you in the round tables, and then yesterday, Saturday, I went out in the streets and I saw a lot of parents with their kids talking about protecting them and about, it's a thing about guns, and I'm not going to go into the politics of it, but there's a lot of that going on. I mean, people wanting to protect their own.
Absolutely, and I think that the world feels fragile, the world feels disconcerting. And people want to feel safe again, and you just have to admire these children, these kids who are out there. I mean, they're so inspiring. They are the future, so let's protect them. They're the future.
Una de las cosas increíbles de esta película es el personaje que hace Millicent Simmonds y no a Jupe. Millicent es una chica que no puede escuchar, es sorda. Y es impresionante cómo eso entra en juego en esta historia, pero en la vida real también lo es. Tuvimos una maravillosa entrevista con ella donde la comunicación fluyó mejor que casi con cualquier persona en la vida.
You guys are amazing in this film.
Oh, thank you.
And I'll tell you, I'm a scaredy cat.
Me too.
I usually do not see horror films. But this, I think, is brilliant, and very much because of you guys. I mean, those two are great. They're amazing. But if we didn't care about what happened to you guys and the way you react, I don't think this would work at all. So that was, were you aware of that big responsibility as actors?
Mm-hmm.
It was an amazing experience to work with everyone in the set, in the cast. When the first time I saw the movie, I thought, whoa, this is what we made. This is what we spent 2 months working on. We poured our heart and soul into it, and look at the end product. I felt so happy. It's just so amazing to see that world come alive, and everyone did such an amazing job in the film.
That's right.
It made me very proud.
What I loved about this movie was the way that everyone was equal in the cast. Like, there was an equal part of Emily and John and Millie and me. And I think, personally, you cared about everyone. And without one of them, it wouldn't have been, you know, the same. And that's what I really loved about it when I read the script. And now that John's, like, you know, made that so much more important in the movie, I really love what he's done with it.
Así que ahí lo tienen, Un Lugar Silencioso. Miren, yo no suelo recomendar películas de terror. Me gustó mucho. Me asusté. Sí, salí medio mal, tuve pesadillas, toda la cosa. Pero para los fans del género y para los que, por ejemplo, les gusta la guerra de los mundos, pero no Freddy Krueger, esto sí es para usted. Gracias, soy Susi Moscatel. Nos seguimos viendo aquí a través de Hey en Milenio Televisión.